Spencer, you drew my attention to this incredible article from CNN about the male gaze, and I want to read a quote from it. The recent rise of weight loss medications coincided with social media influencers sharing ways to get smaller and no longer celebrating bodies of all size. Advertisements followed suit, making men's desire once again a dominating factor in how stories are told. Making men's desires once again a dominating factor in how stories are told and how women are portrayed. How had these discarded ideas made their way back into circulation? These discarded ideas, which, by the way, Spencer, will obviously always be with us because they're fundamental to human nature. Didn't we all agree we were through with them? The culprit, I have learned, is the male gaze. It was always there, but now it has stepped back into the spotlight. This written in such casual language on CNN is incredible, especially in the context of this big conversation we've just been having about modernity, Spencer, because it is so almost lackadaisical about discarding fundamental elements of human nature, but doing it in this like sort of TikTok news of the day. I mean TikTok in the sense of like 60 minutes, like news of the day.
Wait, that was great. Could you do that again, please? That was really, I really liked that.
Spencer, I'd prefer not to.
Oh, really? You don't perform for
Yeah, what do you think I am? Like a zoo animal, Spencer?
Trained seal, yeah. Okay.
Yes, but it's like, so back in 2020, of course, people like Lizzo it is true that the elites were trying to get rid of the, quote, male gaze by promoting Lizzo as healthy at any size. That was glossy magazine coverage. Wasn't just Lizzo, all over the place. Now that Ozempic exists, we're sort of like vibe shift. Magazines are hot again, allegedly. Yeah. I don't know. But there's something kind of interesting there.
Well, speaking as a male gay, I too find it really objectionable when men gaze at me with such desire. I mean, I'm sorry, I've been waiting to tell that
lust.
joke for right. Yeah. It's like I too hate being beautiful and desirable.
Catcalled, the construction workers.
I mean, this whole line of thought has really always seemed like protesting too much to me. Like, oh no, it's so awful how all the men, they look at me and they find me so beautiful, and it really just hurts my little heart. Oh, stop! Don't do it anymore. But on top of that, yeah, there's the whole vibe shift kind of angle to this. I'm not so sure that the Ozempic thing, how much that's going to wash. Like, it was not Ozempic that caused people to get fed up with looking at, like, yeah, exactly, with looking at, like, obese rappers spilling out of their underwear, right?
Nobody was ever okay with that, just to be clear.
This was all, right.
The Women's Studies Department of Oberlin was overjoyed about that. It was pretty much relegated to the faculty lounge.
Well, that's the part of it that really that I find actually most interesting. You know, there was just this study, I think it was an internal study done at Harvard about how basically grade inflation and political grandstanding has taken over the school, has like eaten it up from the inside out. And now a Harvard degree, you know, you might have learned something if you went to Harvard. You might equally just have spent 4 years learning to disguise your true sentiments and tamp down any spark of originality that might occur to you, because
everyone's got a little Pete Hegseth in them. Everyone wants to go off on the fat generals, but at Harvard we're taught to resist that.
I too.
Unlearning
the
Pete Hegseth in all of us.
That's right. We need to be trained, reprogrammed, deprogrammed even.
Yes.
Out of our fat phobia. Right. So I did not look up who the authors of this article are, because life is very short and I have important things to do. But I can only presume that these are I think it's two women that are writing like a think piece based on their women's studies degree.
Oh my!
Right? Or it's just one. Yeah,
it could have been anyone that I went to school
I think it took
with.
two people to write this article, if you can believe it. And what's really, to me, what hurts my sensitive scholar's heart just a little bit is to reflect on the fact that, like, if we lived in a society, outlets like CNN could be running pieces by actual scholars informing the public about
Oh, shut
some
up.
matter
Nobody
of
wants that.
This is like we're really going to cut the feed and so I start talking about this. But like there was a time. I'm old enough to actually not old enough to remember, but like there was a time, I'm told, when guys like Tom Holland would have, say, a regular column in The Guardian, right? When you would have this idea of the public intellectual, it was not a news of the day story. Maybe it had a bit of a news hook, maybe it was attached to some news story, but really it was a way for the people who had invested time and energy in becoming experts in some field, and in whom the civilization had also invested resources and education, as a way for them to give back to the world, right? That was kind of part of their obligation as people that got to spend time thinking. We've now basically, like everything else, the left has taken this and worn it as a skin suit, hollowed it out, zombified it, and turned it into a decrepit, rotting shell of itself, so that you end up with these articles about concepts about nothing, right? This is literally no word in this piece refers to any underlying reality. There are like 3 at least degrees of remove from any concept in this article and anything that's actually true to what's going on in human nature. Basically, if you translate the piece, the subtext is the campaign of intimidation and lies that we managed to foist upon the American public for about 5 years has now disintegrated. And we are dismayed that people aren't ashamed of their natural inclinations anymore, right? That's what the piece is about. And so if you consider the layers and generations and decades of social failure that have to go into creating a situation where people like this can become credentialed at major institutions for talking absolute rot, not just while talking absolute rot, but they have degrees in talking absolute rot, which then is published in our ostensibly major news outlets. That part of it, if you think about it too much, actually does make you want to drink yourself into a stupor, because it's just like very shameful that this happens.
I mean, ostensibly, you've just said a lot of smart things, but I also am of the great suspicion that was a loquacious, thickly veiled pitch for your own CNN.com column, Spencer Klavan.
Put me in, coach. I promise never to talk about the male gaze. No, I want to post at CBS, right? I always get them mixed up, and CBS is the one that just got taken over by Barry Weiss, right? So
that's right.
Who knows? Maybe that'll fix things.
But I think really, Spencer, where they need you is CNN at this point.
That's true. Yeah, it's a good point. All right.
They're already writing about the male gaze. So
I need to apply my male gaze to some sensitive issues of national politics at CNN.
As a matter of representation, it's only right. Did you know, I know you know this, chips and fries were once cooked in beef tallow until the 1990s when corporations swapped it for cheap seed oils. Now those oils make up 20% of the average American's daily calories and are linked to inflammation and metabolic issues. Somehow, of course, that got sold as, quote, healthy. But Masa Chips is flipping the script. They use just 3 ingredients: organic corn, sea salt, and 100% grass-fed beef tallow. No seed oils, no fillers, just bold flavor and serious crunch, strong enough to scoop guac or salsa without crumbling. I tested this out last night during the Packer game. Served some Masa Chips. People were beside themselves, jaw on the floor, wanted to get their own bags right away. Snacking on Masa is really a whole different vibe. You feel satisfied, light, and energized with zero crash, bloat, or that gross, sluggish fog. And the beef tallow is so good. That's the secret sauce. It keeps you full and focused, not mindlessly munching. My favorite flavor, I like the spicy flavor. I like lime. I like churro. The zing hits just right. So if you're ready to give Masa a try, go to masachips.com/afterparty and use code afterparty for 25% off your first order. Great deal. That's masachips.com/afterparty and code afterparty for 25% off your first order. And if you don't feel like ordering online, good news, that's fine. Masa is now available nationwide at your local Sprouts supermarket. Stop by and pick up a bag before they are gone.